All right, thank you everyone for being here. I'd like to call the June 25th meeting of the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Commission meeting to order. Suki, could I ask you to please explain how our guests online might use translation services?
Sure. Thank you, Chair. Live interpretation of this entire meeting will be provided in Spanish. To access live interpretation services in Zoom, please click the globe icon on your webinar controls and then select the Spanish language. At this time, I would like my colleague Kenya or Kimberly to provide these instructions in Spanish. Kimberly or Kenya? There.
Or hands up.
Yes. Kenya, could you unmute yourself?
Yes, okay, can you hear me? We're not in the Spanish channel just yet.
Right. But so I'll start the Spanish channel after you give the instructions, correct?
That sounds perfect, thank you. May I go ahead with the instructions?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Para todos los participantes en esta tarde que necesiten de interpretación en español, hagan favor de hacer clic en el icono al fondo de su pantalla, alcance la pantalla y escoja en el idioma Spanish o español. Muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you. I see that, yes, Your Honor, Chair Cho is here with us, and next up on the agenda is the reappointment and swearing in of Commissioner Bocanegra. So Commissioner Bocanegra, you have your oath with you, and I will hand it over to Your Honor. Thank you so much for being with us.
Okay, hello, good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, it's great for me to be here. I do have the oath in front of me as well. And so if I could ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. Correct. I, Paul Bocanegra.
I, Paul Bocanegra.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
I will bear true faith and allegiance.
To the Constitution of the United States.
To the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well.
And that I will well.
And faithfully discharge.
And faithfully discharge.
The duties I am about to enter.
The duties I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you.
Your Honor, do you have the oath of confidentiality?
I do not have that. No.
Okay. Paul has it in front of him. Let me see if I can, how might I get that to you?
If it can be emailed to me, I can receive it that way.
If you also have it on your computer, you can screen share and then.
Oh, okay, good idea.
Yeah, I think we did that last time. It was just screen shared.
Thank you for your patience. Okay, where did it go?
Okay, I think I can make that out.
Let me see if I can move it over here. Are you able to see that, Your Honor?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so let me just, okay. So if we could then raise your right hand and repeat the oath of confidentiality, which is recognizing that all juvenile court matters are confidential.
Recognizing that all juvenile court matters are confidential,
I, Paul Bocanegra,
I, Paul Bocanegra,
as a member of the San Mateo County Juvenile Justice Commission,
as a member of the San Mateo County Juvenile Justice Commission,
agree to keep potentially identifying youth information,
potentially identifying youth information,
case records, cases observed,
case records, cases observed,
and other protected knowledge confidential.
and other protected knowledge confidential.
In addition,
I
agree to use the authority of the commission
agree to use the authority of the commission
only in the interest of the youth of the county,
only in the interest of the youth in the county,
and to use discretion,
and to use discretion,
diligence, and integrity
diligence, and integrity
in conducting the business of the commission.
in conducting the business of the commission.
I understand this oath of confidentiality
I understand this oath of confidentiality
and have read and understood
and have read and understood
the operating policies of the San Mateo County Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Commissions.
the operating policies of the San Mateo County Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Commission.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So much for your service to the commission. Okay, so now it's time to do roll call and establish our quorum.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. We do have two members on Zoom, Commissioner Whitney Ginevro and then Commissioner Southwick Nori. Is that correct? Could you unmute yourself, please?
Yes.
So I'm just making sure that you both are sick and participating from home, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you both will be invoking AB 2447, which is a just cause that due to illness or a family member that's sick, that you will be participating and voting online, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then there's two rules. One of them is you have to keep your video on for the entire meeting.
Okay.
Okay. And then the second is anybody present in the room that is over the age of 18? No? Okay,
No, for
great. So Commissioner Ginevra is present, Commissioner Southwick Nori is present, Commissioner Karen Hoover-Levy.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Ruchi Mantani.
Here.
Commissioner Jennifer Blanco.
Present.
Commissioner Paul Bocanegra.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Eugene Jackson.
Present.
Commissioner Wesley Liu.
Present.
Commissioner Amaya Nori.
Present.
Commissioner Susan Swope.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Tiffany Uhila-Hata.
Here.
Thank you. And then Chair Rasmussen.
Here. Thank you so
All
much.
present.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Did we call Steve Green, Commissioner Green?
Oh, sorry, Steve Grieve is absent.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I would like to announce the resignation of Commissioner Wesley Liu. We're certainly going to be missing Wesley. This will be his last meeting, so his resignation will be effective tomorrow. Wesley, you've brought so much to the commission. I'll open it up for others as well, but we're really going to miss you, but you're leaving for great and good things, going to the college that you had hoped to get into, and I see big things in your future. So thank you for your service. Anyone else like to say a few words about, yes.
I just want to say thank you. It has been an awesome experience working with you on the commission as well as on other community issues that needed support. Also, being a personal friend of mine and supporting me on a personal level, you've just been absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed the opportunities we got to work together on projects on the commission, specifically going to the Board of Trustees, and you bringing me to to the juvenile commission that I presented for there in downtown. It's just been an amazing run with you. You have given everything. Again, I've had contacted you on a personal level for assistance on different things, and you have always been there for me, my brother. So you're going to be missed. Thank you for your service to our community, to our youth, and we hope to have you back more educated than you already are.
Well, I'll be back.
Yeah. And we look forward to it.
We can't wait.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah. I'd like to say to the chair, I know, Wesley, I know that we've only known each other for a very short time. However, we've gotten to know each other on a whole different level of personal as well. I appreciate what you bring to the table, and you bring a lot. You're a very intelligent young man, and we can't wait to see where you go and what you do moving forward. And so I do want to also say thank you so much for coming to my school board meetings and just sharing your knowledge and your experience. And because sometimes us adults need to hear from our youth, and you really have a loud voice. And so, no, that's a good thing. I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud to call you my friend.
Yes.
So,
All right.
congratulations.
Would you like to say anything, Leslie?
I just wanted to say, I have a little comment. I just want to say thank you for the time that you spent working with us on the commission. I've always really appreciated your engagement, and you come to meetings prepared. You have opinions on things. You have ideas for things. You're enthusiastic. You're intellectually curious, and I know that you're going to pursue your dreams and do great things. And thank you so much for your engagement. It's so meaningful to have young people your age who truly care to take part in this type of organization. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a joy to know you and work with you. You really, I think you have maturity beyond your years. And as everyone else has said, I think you are going to do great things. And we will miss you.
I mean, I served with you on the youth commission, but yeah, it was definitely a great experience, and I've learned so much from you, and it's been a pleasure having you on both commissions.
That's it. I just wanted to thank everyone here. I wanted to thank Jennifer, Commissioner Blanco. She calls me Mijo in all those sorry. I wanted to thank Susan. You've made me a better minute taker.
Survived minute boot camp.
I know. And Karen, you've helped with that also. You've held me accountable to keep me on task so many times. I wanted to thank Paul. You've made me a better advocate. You've made me a better citizen. So thank you for that. Johanna, I love your passion. I don't know how you do everything, but you managed to do it. And I wanted to thank Amaya. I think I learned a lot from you too. Actually, before I joined the youth commission, you were already on the youth commission, but we were working on PowerPoint together too. So this has been an era, but I look forward to serving with all of you in the future.
Thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up is the vote on the candidacy of Shaquille Ali, and I will hand that over to Commissioner Montani to go ahead and explain what the recommendation is of the membership committee.
Yeah, thanks so much. So I have the pleasure of introducing Shaquille Ali as the candidate for appointment to the commission this evening. Some things about Shaquille: he is a San Francisco native and he currently resides in Daly City. He has over 3 decades of teaching, counseling, community work, and philanthropy experience. And he has an impressive background in education. Currently, he teaches English 3 at El Camino High School. He is also the governing board president of the Jefferson Elementary School District. He has a master's and credential in special education. And he was the education chair for the NAACP San Mateo branch. He has started and been involved in a variety of other initiatives to support our youth, including being the founding advisor for YEET, which stands for Youth Empowerment, Entrepreneurship, and Employment, and national trainer for ripple effects, which provides social emotional skill building for youth. He has created a youth council to address certain health disparities, and he has also done extensive gang violence prevention work in Oakland, Baltimore, Chicago, New York, and many other cities across the United States. On the commission, Shaquille is passionate about empowering marginalized communities and facilitating equitable learning environments. So overall, these are just a few of the many years of experience he has and many accomplishments he has already made in his career, which are all informed by his own lived experience. And this is why we believe he'll be extremely valuable on JJDPC. So on the unanimous recommendation of the membership committee, it is my pleasure to move that the commission approve Shaquille Ali's appointment to the JJDPC of SMC. And since this is coming from a committee, we do not need a second. We do not.
Perfect. Could we do a group vote, or do we need to do? roll call?
Since we do have two present, to take a roll call.
Okay, great.
So I'll do that. To Commissioner Huber Levy,
Aye.
Commissioner Montani,
Aye.
Commissioner Blanco,
Aye.
Commissioner Bocanegra.
Aye.
Commissioner Ginevra.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Jackson.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Amayanory.
Aye.
Commissioner Satoignori.
Aye.
Commissioner Swope.
Aye.
Commissioner Umila Hato.
Aye.
And then Chair Rasmussen.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, congratulations, Shaquille. We look forward to working with you. We'll be in touch about next steps, and we look forward to having you join us very soon. Okay, next up would be item number 3, which is action to set the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Item number 2, public comment. Do we have any public comment, either in person or online?
None from in person. Online, I do see one hand raised. Again, as a reminder, public comment is on items that is not on this agenda. So if you are commenting on anything that's on this agenda, please hold up your comment until that item is heard. One hand is raised from
Bill Newell?
Bill Noel. Correct.
I think Shaquille has.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, sure. Bill, you can go first, and then I'm giving you the permission to speak. Please proceed.
I don't know if I'm speaking about something on the agenda or not. This has to do with La Luna International Labor Union and the Youth Law Center. Are they on the agenda tonight?
yes, they are.
Okay, well then I should speak later. Sorry.
Okay, Bill, thanks for joining us.
All right, and then our last speaker, is Shaquille Ali. Please proceed.
Yes, I just wanted to give a big thanks to everyone, especially Chair Rasmussen and Jennifer Blanco and Paul Bocanegra. And I'm just excited to get back to the work that I started a couple of decades ago in juvenile justice, and to work with all of you. So thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you. No additional comments. So back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Now to item number 3, which is an action to set the agenda. Do I have a motion
I
to?
move that we accept the agenda with the following change to it. We would add, after commissioners absent, we would put juvenile court present, Judge Susan Edizade.
Do I have a second?
A second.
We have a second from Commissioner Mayanori.
Okay, I'll take the roll call. Commissioner Huber Levy,
Aye.
Commissioner Montani, Commissioner Blanco,
Aye.
Commissioner Bocanegra,
Aye.
Commissioner Ginevra,
Aye.
Commissioner Jackson,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Mayanori,
Aye.
Commissioner Satoignori,
Aye.
Commissioner Swope,
Aye.
Commissioner Umila Hato.
Aye.
Then Chair Rasmussen.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda is set.
Thank you so much. Next item is the approval of the meeting minutes for May 28th, 2024. I know we did have, that was for the agenda.
Yeah, I
think
should
she
have
did.
done it for this.
Okay, okay.
So I think we all figured it was the minutes.
Yeah, okay.
So let's I move and accept the agenda as distributed.
And we did make a notation in the minutes that Judge Elizalde was present at this meeting. So that was also amended. Another roll call vote?
Yeah, second.
Okay. Thank you. Wesley, Commissioner Wesley, second.
All right. Commissioner Huber Levy,
Aye.
Commissioner Montani,
Aye.
Commissioner Blanco.
Aye.
Commissioner Bocanegra.
Aye.
Commissioner Ginevra,
Aye.
Commissioner Jackson.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Amayonori.
Aye.
Commissioner Salvatore.
Aye.
Commissioner Swope.
Aye.
Commissioner Hida.
Aye.
And Chair Rasmussen.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting minutes are approved.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I am very pleased to have Leonard Gonzalez here from LIUNA, the Laborers International Union of North America. He's going to be doing a presentation on apprenticeship preparedness and the program that the union offers. I'm going to start by playing a video. And if you'd like to join us up here at the podium, that would be wonderful. Okay, so screen. Apologize. Is it not?
Let me share.
Oh. Okay. Is it in Zoom? I apologize. We're doing is it in your Zoom settings? Okay. All right. While I figure out these technical issues on getting that into this, would it be okay if you started? I apologize for that. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner, Madam Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Leonard Gonzalez. I'm the Executive Director for the Laborers International Union of North America, Laborers Training and Retraining Trust Fund for Northern California. Also with me here this evening is our Director of Apprenticeship, Hugo De La Torre, who was over in the back. We were approached and we were asked, we met with Paul and Jennifer a couple weeks ago with regards to some of the programming that we do in apprenticeship preparedness throughout Northern California. Our agency, our organization, we cover the 46 Northern California counties of California. We provide all the training services for our affiliates, which are the Laborers International Local. So Laborers Local for this area is Local 261. And we have 10 affiliates in the region. So our area is from Tulare County all the way up to the California-Oregon border and everything in between. There are about 35,000 active laborers in that region, of which we are based in San Ramon. That is our home office. We have a training facility there, about 355 acres there in the hills of San Ramon. And we train approximately, just last year, we trained over 20,000 members, of which about 4,000 to 5,000 were what we call pre-apprenticeship individuals and organizations that we support and provide services to. This evening, we wanted to present some information about our program, what we do, some of the curriculum that we cover, and more that connects with what your commission, where we're at currently in some of the facilities as it relates to juvenile justice.
Would you like me to put up?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
And what you're going to see here is just one of our programs. This is a program that we operate in Folsom Prison.
So this was what I was going to do was a PowerPoint, right? That's okay. Okay. All right.
put on my glasses. So, I'll be 50 this weekend, so first thing to go.
Show me, could you? Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you so much. Okay,
You
thank you.
can go to the next slide. So as you can see, I provided all the information for 2023. We're currently in our program year runs from June 1 through May 31st. So we just finished up our last year's program year, so we're getting all information. But for 2023, we enrolled over, we had just over 4,100 active apprentices. We're probably one of the largest apprenticeship programs in the construction industry in California. We received over 4,500 applications. We onboarded over just over 1,900 or almost just under 2,000 new apprentices for the region. We graduated over 1,100 individuals. As compared to most programs, we're one of the largest active and graduating programs in the state. We did terminate just over 1,300. And what's key to that is, part of our program, we are monitored by the state, by the Division of Apprenticeship Standards. And so we have to do a job, we have to monitor the program to see what individuals are actually, when they sign up, they have an obligation. There's a contract that they sign as they come in as new apprentices. And there's certain things that they have to accomplish and go through, whether it's turning in their hours, showing up for dispatches. If they miss any of those things, Hugo and his department, the apprenticeship coordinators, monitor that, almost like case managers, if you will. And if they don't fulfill the obligation, we bring them before a joint apprenticeship commission that is combined of our locals, our business agents, and contractors, in which they have the opportunity to come before, plead their case as to why they missed why they were brought in or why they were written up, and they could be reinstated. But we do have to monitor that. The DAS 140 is, again, Division of Apprenticeship Standards. I know there's a lot of acronyms, so just bear with me. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. These are requests that go to the state for public works jobs. And so we received over 19,000 requests for apprentices through our department. So you can see when people say, construction, recession, that's 20,000 requests for apprentices in this industry, just for Northern California. That's not Southern California. And I should say, I cover the North, and then David Espinoza, who's my colleague, covers the South. So from Kern County all the way down to the California-Mexico border, he covers that. So there's only two of us. And so class-wise, we've taught over 1,500 classes, of which 204 were pre-apprenticeship programs. And I'll get into more detail about our programs. Training hours, over 300,000 training hours. Those are contact hours in which we're delivering certifications. And again, I'll cover the certifications that we do. For 2021, 2022, our grant revenue was just over $2 million for that year, in which we received funding. Our program is through the collective bargaining agreement. So for every hour that a laborer works in the field, it contributes to our budget to operate for Northern California. Those resources are specifically for our dues paying members. Those are individuals that are in the union, being dispatched, paying their dues. The $2 million goes to actually serve community non-labor individuals that are not in the program. So that's revenue that I either write grants, we develop contracts, workforce development, juvenile commission, probation, county jails. So that's our grant revenue. You can go to the next slide. Or is there a clicker? Or thank you. These are our demographics, and I'll be sure to make sure Chairperson Rasmus gets a copy. But these are our demographics. Pretty proud. We of the 4,100, we're just under 10% as far as female participation in our program, which is probably about 2 to 3% higher than most other programs and apprenticeship programs. And as you can see, we're very diverse with our demographics and who we're serving. Next slide, please. Again, our training hours, you can tell in 2011, I've been here 15 years, going on 15 years. I came on in 2010. The market took a dive in 2005, and it really hit hard. And so we were on the verge of almost closing the center for a minute. But in 2011, 2012 was the low point, and then the market started to take a turn up. And you can see our hours as they go up. With that, as the hours go up, that means that we're providing more services, more training, and there's also a bigger need for our contractors in the request for apprentices. So that's where our pre-apprenticeship programs come in play, and working with community partners to create a pathway into our program, and not just the laborers, but all industry, all of our construction trade industry for organized labor. Next slide. So when it comes to the curriculum, what do we cover? This is what's called the multi-core craft curriculum. It was developed by the National Building Trades, along with other crafts that participated in that advisory committee. It varies anywhere from a level 1 to a level of 60 hours on up to 120 hours, just depends on what we're focusing on. But really the key here is safety, labor history. So we'll cover OSHA 10, first aid CPR, blueprint reading orientation, math skills, labor history, industry awareness, and then tools and material. That's really the first portion of it. And then the next, it really depends on the organizations that we're working with and how in-depth they want to go. We can expand into the industry more, where we do what we call fundamentals of construction, Haswalker 40, aerial lift platform, and also depending on other crafts that want to get involved and participate in the instruction with us and co-present. Next slide. Again, these are our pre-apprenticeship programs. So you can tell in 2004 when we started, we're just kind of starting off, getting our feet wet. And then as the years went on, you can see the growth of our program and the outreach that we did in working with our community partners to provide services and opportunities for residents in various communities. Next slide. So just so that, you know, I can make a connection between your commission and what we're doing. When I met with Paul and Jennifer, this is Blue Ridge Ranch. I don't know if you're familiar with Blue Ridge. That's over in Morgan Hill, Santa Clara County. This is a juvenile justice campus. This is a ranch. So we have a contract with Santa Clara County Office of Education and Probation. We're actually the instructor. We're inside that facility. We provide the training to all the individuals. We have a process, you know, just like anything else. We have a tool cage. You have to have a process of checking out tools, how they get checked out, how they get checked back in. We run it like a true crew, and we actually run it just like our apprenticeship program. So you'll see here, I know it's really small, so I really apologize. But these are all the courses that we teach, that we've presented there in this particular program. The number of presentations, as you can tell, as far as that we've presented in different cohorts. And then the number of those that were registered. Now there might be some that are duplicated, right? There might be some that are coming back in for as part of a cohort and then going to the class. So, but the number that for this particular group, 218 bodies went in for the certificates. Our success rate, 218 successfully completed and obtained their certificates in that program, of which total hours of classroom time or training time, we already have 10,770 hours. That's been a 3-year program. We run 2 cohorts a year with about anywhere from 15 to 25 individuals, depending on the campus and who they have. And this particular program, it's a 12-week program. Typically, our programs are 6 weeks. We start at 7 in the morning, go to 3 in the afternoon. This program, we broke it in half based on the request of the probation and the school site. We do 2 cohorts, 4 hours each day. So 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. Our instructor is there for 8 hours. So we'll do 4 hours in the morning, go to a new cohort, a second cohort in the afternoon, run it 4 hours.
Would it be, just let me know when would be a good time to play that first video. I think it's got it worked out.
Actually, if you want to go to play the first video, it'll kind of give you a little overview of our California Prison Industry Authority program. That's an adult program that's been our longest running program. And it'll give you some statistics as far as what we're doing in that particular program.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
The partnership with the laborers came about as an initiative and a vision of one of the members that we had on our board, so that they came to us and said, hey, we have a great idea that we could partner with the unions, and then the offenders, once they're trained, will have immediate and direct entry into the union when they leave.
I've been involved with the program my tenure as a business representative. We got involved because the need was there to give these individuals an opportunity that just wasn't there for them. The pre-apprenticeship program coming out of PIA is probably the best one that I've seen.
In our PIA construction program, we teach first aid, we teach gravity flow piping, we teach OSHA 10. There's multiple things. Anything that we do in the outside labor trades, we teach. We got water in it.
Got water, got gas, check, and check.
By the time they leave our program, most of them are pretty confident and they have good faith in what they do and knowing that they have a future.
When I caught this case, I was scared about what I was going to do when I get out because I'm a felon. I'm like, who's going to hire me? But coming to this program and gaining the skills that I learned and having the resources that we have, it gave me more confidence to know that when I get out, I can make it and I can stay out.
Yeah, take care of your tools.
I'm grateful for the programs that they have here because it actually has transformed me a lot and I noticed a lot of difference. I have more patience now and more understanding. I look at life in a better way than I did before. It actually changed my life.
I've learned to use so many things. We've worked with whackers, vibrators, jackhammers, concrete cutters. My favorite is the asphalt cutter. I love cutting asphalt. It's the slowest thing, but it's one of my favorite things to do.
When they come in the program, they really want to learn and they really try hard. They have a lot of respect for me. They're yes or no, sir, and thank you. And they treat me with respect, and I treat them with respect.
It's actually a very good opportunity to get out and do something constructive in my life. And, you know, it's good money, it's a good industry, there'll always be work. I'm definitely looking forward to it. The biggest reward for the laborers, without a doubt, is watching the individual come up, kind of timid, not sure about themselves as an apprentice, and then walk out on a job site a couple of years later, and they're wearing a foreman hat. They're from the next generation. They have that confidence, and they have that sense of pride, and they have that unionism. Their hat's full of labor, stickers, and they believe in what we're doing here.
Again, that's our Cal PIA Prison Industry Authority program. We are in Folsom Penitentiary. I have an instructor in San Quentin. We're also at the Chachilla Women's Facility, and we were at the California Youth Authority, but they recently shut that down not too long ago. So again, we have years of expertise in working with demographic and working with individuals that have obviously some challenges in their life, or come across some challenges in their life, and you know, not just laborers, but also in this industry, we like to provide them an opportunity to transition back into the communities and be a positive individual and you know, self-sufficiency. Again, this is Blue Ranch. You can go to the next slide. And a lot of these are very similar. This is Solano County Sheriff. Again, just from the template, the classes, number of presentations registered. Again, this is a 3-year program that we've been implementing with Solano County. We're just under 9,000 hours, or just over 9,000 training hours for that program. You go to the next slide. Alameda County Jail, we just started in Santa Rita. We have 36 individuals that we've just started just after the first of the year. 36 are still in there, of which one just was recently released and was onboarded on May 23rd into Local 304. So that program's off to a really good start. Again, even for that program, we're putting in a lot of hours because we're running 8-hour days there. And so we're already at 9,500 training hours just for that facility alone. This is Cal PIA for this year as well. Again, the programming, we're at 4,316 training hours there. This is Folsom. The next slide is probably San Quentin. San Quentin is one of our larger programs with Cal PIA. We're already at 11,768 training hours there, with over 412 certifications that we've provided. And this is Chachilla's Women's Facility, smaller program. reality is when it comes to the prisons, it really depends on the warden and their officers and who they assign. And so Chowchilla been a little tough for us, just trying to get that program up and running. But we're getting there, and you know, the warden's starting to get on board. They had a little bit of transition, but you know, we face those challenges, and you know, we just try and make it as easy as possible to provide the services to the individuals. These are other programs that we partner with Central Valley Training Center, which is in Fresno. That's a Building Trades Valley Apprenticeship Connection, Salvation Army, Youth Awareness, which is actually part of California Police Activities League. I believe they're looking to start a program here in San Mateo County. I think Jennifer has spoken with Tina. Future Build, which is over in Contra Costa, City Build, which is San Francisco. We actually provide that training on behalf of the city through our instructor. Mercy Housing, they were doing some projects there in Sunnydale as far as the housing units and redevelopment of the what used to be Housing Authority units there in Sunnydale. Also Success Center in San Francisco, A. Philip Roundoff, and San Joaquin County Office of Education, which is a youth build program funded through Department of Labor. These are other programs which I just went through. You saw some of the information in the video as far as some statistics with Cal PIA. And these are just, in the next slide is just a few success stories from some of our graduates. You go and play the last video.
Okay.
And the last video, I think, just gives you an idea of if this commission is interested in pursuing programs like these. This video is actually with Blue Ridge, which is in Morgan Hill. We were nominated by probation to the Santa Clara County Office of Education for what's called the Hoffman Award. The Hoffman Award is a Career Tech Ed award that is given to pretty prestigious secondary CTE classes or programs. We were nominated and we actually won the award. We're the first program to win that award as far as being alternative, if you'll call it, education. But this is a video, an overview of that, and that was presented at the Hoffman Award ceremony.
That's wonderful.
I'm downloading the video right now. So.
Oh, no worries. Are there any questions? So that concludes as far as some of the information. If you guys want to wait till afterwards, or if you have any questions for me now, that's fine.
Yeah, while the video is downloading, what are the requirements? What would exclude you from being able to participate in the program?
In our program,
yeah.
Well, you just need to be 18 years and over.
Okay.
As far as apprenticeship, when it comes to pre-apprenticeship, it's really what age group are you looking to target? Because pre-apprenticeship, apprenticeship preparedness, it is not directly. It's not an apprenticeship program. If it's apprenticeship, you have to be 18 to get in.
Yes. So
I would think that if you're looking for transition, you probably want to target a group that is 17 and 3/4, depending on what's left on their case, you know, and the release date, because you don't want to have someone in there, you know, who might be 15, going to get out, they're going to turn 16, and then they have to wait till they're 18
yes.
to get in. There's a lot of time there. There's other programming available, but I would think that in our experience, it's about transition into employment, the opportunity, you know, to give them that opportunity to transition into employment.
Are there any specific charges that would exclude someone from being able to eventually enter the union?
You know, and you can chime in also, but typically, no. I'm going to say no for laborers. I can't speak on other crafts, but I know for labor, the only things that certain charges would prevent them from working on certain projects, hospitals, schools, federal. So, you know, manslaughter cases, things of that nature, you know, that would probably prevent them from working on specific jobs, but it wouldn't prevent them from working on private sector jobs that we have.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
But it wouldn't exclude them for getting the training.
No, we have many individuals that come in that have some case. Matter of fact, there's an individual who went through our assessment today down in at San Ramon that had some pretty serious charges. He actually tested on it. Tested at 97% on his score, so wow. He's going to be getting dispatched pretty soon.
That's fantastic.
Do you entertain us a little bit about the pushback from Chowchilla's warden?
Yeah, the situation there is just facility and space. So co-locating with other agencies, and also the reality is the tools that we bring in, because you're going to see when you watch Blue Ridge, we treat it like a job site. They're actually doing a pour. We have a cement truck. We're using hammers, nails, saws. I mean, so there's a little concern there, which I completely understand. And so for us having the experience in validating, where we're at, services we're providing, the agencies that we're working with, it kind of gives them a little more comfortable.
I saw on there, it was only like 3, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are gonna expand.
Yeah, we're gonna be expanding, absolutely. And we run female cohorts depending on the age. Like for instance, San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, they have funded female cohorts up in Tuolumne County when they were doing the new pipeline. And then also San Joaquin Youth Build has also funded female cohorts. So it just depends on the organization and what their focus is.
Perfect. I think the video's ready.
The LIUNA program here at James Ranch is kind of a fusion of industry and the K-12 experience in technology. Historically, K-12 construction teaches very straightforward content, but we've tried to move into a space that mirrors industry. What does industry need from new employees?
program. The students have the opportunity to receive multiple industry recognized certificates. And students have the opportunity, when they leave this facility, they'll be able to go into the workforce and work.
They earn about 15 certificates, give or take, from OSHA 10, first aid CPR, hazardous waste. They get 2 weeks of fundamentals of construction, which includes placement of concrete, formwork, how to hammer, how to nail. We teach a broad range from equipment training to safety training to everything in between.
It's a very intense program. They start at 7:30 in the morning. They work very hard. There's a lot of rigor academically. We have weeks and weeks of classroom instruction, which most people don't realize. They see our big projects out there, but they don't realize that there are so many instructional hours.
Through our LIUNA program, we do focus on our math, science, history, and English components as well. And it's been a great partnership with all of our education staff, our probation staff, to make sure are we providing the best material, not just in site work with LIUNA, but also in the class setting, when we're sitting down, learning different aspects of the educational success.
Little things play a big part in making the program a success, and it happens with our department as far as laborers training, the county office of ed, and probation, so they all have to be clicking. That, in my opinion, is why we have such a successful program.
LIUNA is outstanding at providing us the cutting edge of what is happening in industry. We're very, very proud of the efforts that LIUNA has put into this.
We've had a great collaboration in regards to the LIUNA program with their management team, with their professor as well. We are focused on not just putting the students' application in, but being on the very top of it all, knowing that they're the best and ready to go to work the next day.
The chances of them getting a career above somebody just applying from the street, you have to take that person that's been a graduate. They've been through all that training, they have all that knowledge, so they have a better foot in the door to get that position.
We try to take advantage in the best way of their time here to provide them with the best opportunity to succeed. Life is fast moving, it's hard, so we want to do the very best we can to provide that.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be sure to include the links to these videos in our minutes because unfortunately the connection in this room is poor, which I didn't realize because this is the first time we've done a presentation like this in this room. So additional questions. Did you have additional questions?
Eugene had one.
Okay, yes.
I have 3. How long is the pre-apprentice program?
So our typical program is a 6 to 12 week program, depending on the curriculum that the organization or agency wants to provide. I would say on our 6-week program is usually what a lot of agencies are looking for. That covers your safety certification week, fundamentals of construction, which is usually 2 weeks, HAZWOPER, blueprint reading, an aerial lift platform, and then if they want to throw something else in there. So it just really depends on the organization, funding that they might have available. So that, and we're able to customize based on what the agency wants, because each one is different.
Okay, so I'm going to get the funding in a second. Sure. That's the question. That's like my 4th. Now with the ocean, I know that can be done on site if we're doing in a secure facility like Kilburn.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, if we have secure track kids, since we no longer have youth authority, now would our secure track kids be allowed to go on site, or would stuff like that be taught inside?
Really depends on how you guys want to organize your program. I mean, for us, we're the trainers. So, but when it comes to your process, how you want to design your program, individuals coming from secure track to, it's really, are you guys okay with that? For us, they're just trained, their trainees are coming in. It's individuals that we just want to make sure employability skills. You're going to show up at 7 o'clock, 7:30. You're going to be there till 3 o'clock. And you're gonna listen. You're gonna work. You're gonna follow directions. You're gonna take away from the experience. That's really what we focus on. I should make that clear. Let me make that clear. We don't do case management. That's not what we're about. We're about training. We want to provide training to the individuals to get them ready for the workforce, because when they transition out, especially into our industry, it's laborers, carpenters, IVW, whatever it may be, whatever craft they go into, the reality is they're going to get dispatched to a contractor. The contractor doesn't care about some of the person. They want to have a good, reliable candidate, apprentice, journey person show up and do the job. That's what we're trying to prepare.
Okay, so now getting into funding. So is this individualized per person? Is this by group? How does funding work? So if we have somebody going out to a job site, what would funding look like for that? And then if we have it, let's say we want to learn the core cutting inside with cement, what would funding something like that cost?
So typically for us, and I guarantee you will not find a rate like this anywhere else, we're $5,500 a week for a course. And that could be a cohort of 8 to 25. Our cost is fixed. I have to pay for the instructor, I have to pay for the materials. You just need to provide the participants.
So you're saying,
that's all inclusive.
So 5,500 with whether we go out or whether it's in. So
because we have all the material, we have all the equipment, everything. You just need to provide the participants.
So now leaving pre-apprentice and going in. So once we talk about our secure track kids, a lot of our kids, we're trying to figure out what does the step down process look like, because these kids are going to come home. And we know in prison, they're going into a job situation, a halfway house, and learning to work again. So we're trying to figure out the same thing for our youth. So is there a way to find that where that apprenticeship can be ran through that time for those kids so they can actually go into the union?
Yeah, so what we do is once they successfully complete the program, okay, for laborers, and again, for the other crafts, some of them have different processes. It just depends on the craft. But for us, once they complete, we actually give direct entry. And what that means is they have first crack at doing the assessment. So the assessment is a physical agility program. They're moving blocks, moving gravel, moving planks. And it's all timed. There's a written test, math test, and an interview. Depending on how they score, that puts them on what's called a list of eligibles. And then they're eligible to get dispatched to the local. So we can provide that once they complete. You want to coordinate a trip up to San Ramon, or depending on your facility and the space, we can actually put the assessment on site, physical assessment on site. We just started a program in Castroville. We had an orientation today. It's at the UA, the plumber's office. And we're setting up the assessment on site. They want to do it on site. So we're going to do the assessment next week to get them prepped to go into the apprenticeship that we're going to start on July 10th.
Thank you.
So when they complete your program, that's a pre-apprenticeship program. So then do they go to another program that is the actual apprenticeship
That's the
program?
apprenticeship.
Or does that happen when they get sent out to a site and they apprentice?
No,
on site?
so the apprenticeship, once they complete the pre-apprenticeship, they're eligible for us to come in and test for our apprenticeship program. Our goal, and with our program, especially we partner with a lot of building trades and other crafts, we want to get coordinators out from the other programs to present, so that when they graduate, they have an option. It's not just laborers. We're talking about all organized labor, carpenters, electricians, operators, plumbers, pipe fitters, laborers. We want to make sure that there's an array of programs that they have an option to go into and potentially become an apprentice.
You have to be documented.
You have to have a right to work. So basically I-9. And because you're an apprentice, we receive federal funding. So it's just like if you were to receive funding for county services and things of that nature, we just need to have a I-9, correct?
The U.S. issued government ID.
Mm-hmm. And is the dispatching open to non-union contractors?
No. So this program is all around organized labor. So we focus on, we're union, and the organizations that we work with, the building trades, are all organized in union agencies. So those are signatory contractors to their specific agreements.
Which is really beautiful because it's organized labor that actually allows people to stay in the area. It provides living wage benefits, pensions, and things that really can make for a beautiful life.
Well, and also, you know, with organized labor, with all programs, if you're an apprentice or a journey person, when you're dispatched to a job that's union, you're going to go out for certain hours. That's where the DS 140 that I was telling you about, the public works. So they'll put on there how many hours, what the job is, what it's going to entail, how many days, how many weeks, whatever it may be. Once those hours are complete, the individual gets sent back to the hall. They're put on the list to get dispatched. So they don't have to, whereas non-union, they don't get their walking papers, have to go out, try and find a job. They go back to the hall, they put on the list of out of work, and then they're eligible for dispatch.
Last question, just so I make sure I have this piece right. So it's $5,500 a month.
A week.
A week, I'm sorry, a week, for 8 to 25 kids. And that's pre-apprentice through apprentice?
That's just pre-apprentice. That's pre-apprentice. Those are certification programs. So like a House Whopper 40 class, which unfortunately California, we have fire season, right? We're in the middle of fire season. It's already supposed to be a bad season. For fire remediation, any individual that's going to work on a fire remediation has to have a House Whopper 40. So that's why we do the House Whopper 40. So a class like that, 8 to 20, 25, whatever it may be, the cohort size, that's $5,500 for the week for that certification, and that's a 40-hour course.
So now what about the apprentice, the apprentice program itself?
The apprenticeship program, there's no cost. Once they get onboarded and they're on board, they'll pay an initiation fee, which will usually include their initiation and usually for us 3 months of their dues. And then every month they pay for us, it's $47 a month for their dues. As long as they're in good standing, they have access to all of our curriculum, and that's the same for any organized apprenticeship program. As long as they're in good standing, they have access to that training.
So for all the training, so like after we finish our pre-apprentice, and then we're looking to onboard them somehow, if they're like struggling with the math or other little things, we get whatever documents we need to go over there and have them to train on the side for that.
No, so we have a set curriculum. So if you go to our website, www.norcal, NORCALTC, norcaltc.org, you're going to see a syllabus. So I think that's the misperception of a lot of apprenticeship programs. We're post-secondary. We're recognized. So if an individual is out of work, right, collecting unemployment, if they go to our program and they're collecting unemployment, we're recognized by EDD because we're a post-secondary institution. We have a set curriculum that has to be approved by the state, as does all apprenticeship programs. That's why they're registered. So we have a set curriculum. There are math courses there, there's construction math, and each craft is different. Obviously, your electricians, your plumbers, that's going to be heavy on math, right? Us, we're heavy on environmental, cleanup, demolition. That's our work. It's based on jurisdiction. That's what we call it. So we have a certain jurisdiction that we cover in the field. Electricians cover certain jurisdiction, plumbers. So we have to respect that.
I wanted to say that something that stood out to me was the 7% recidivism rate. When these clients or these participants graduate, they don't come back. And that's a big thing. The other thing I wanted to point out was I've served time in Folsom and San Quentin. I understand those are very secure facilities. And it sounds like you have a pretty healthy trajectory with working with secure environments. The other thing I wanted to say was that we have youth that are serving like 2 years, 3 years sometimes, that are 16, but will be 18 maybe when they come home. And I know you mentioned that usually you look for the 17-year-old range, but would it be possible to squeeze in the 16-year-olds there so that at the end of their sentence, they can transition straight to a point of being dispatched for work? Because many of the youngsters that we serve here in the community, every single one of them that comes home that I work with and mentor, everyone wants to help their parents pay rent. They want to help with different bills and things of that nature, and they're prepared to work. And if they come home with live transferable skills, I really enjoy the data that you provided, all of the community members that you graduated from the program and have been able to dispatch, because that's very important for these youngsters, is how they occupy their time. And as a son of a laborers union, this is where, my personal story with the laborers union. My father was a labor union immigrant into this country, and got his citizenship through Ronald Reagan, joined the union, and he was able to buy us a house. And so I know the importance of the work that you do for the community, especially marginalized communities. And I just want to say thank you for coming here and presenting this to everyone here, because I think that a program such as this can really change the trajectory of how we rehabilitate our youth. And I could really see this being an answer to a lot of the problems that everybody here has come together to try to solve. Probation. Everybody's here to try to solve the one thing that we all want, which is our youth to live healthier lives and be able to be responsible adults. So I want to thank you for coming out here and sharing the data and answering all the tough questions that you've answered. But I really appreciate the program, and Joanna and I toured the program in Santa Clara County, and spaces you guys created there, another secured environment that I served time in as a kid, that just really, you guys have changed that environment from when I was there to what I witnessed. It's like a college, man, and the forklift drive and all of that is just absolutely amazing. And it's amazing to see probation take that turn there, because we didn't have anything like that when I was coming up, and we have that now. And I'm glad that you're presenting this to this probation here at this county, because they've done a lot to try to help these youth, and they're always searching for programs. And thank you,
Yes,
Mr. Gonzalez.
we really appreciate any final questions. Well, thank you so much.
Sorry, I had my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't see you through the fall. I apologize.
I put my hand up on the screen. My question was just so I could be clear, have there been discussions with probation about this type of program and how it could fit at Hillcrest? So this is the kind of the introduction.
This is it, yeah. Yeah, initially we met with the commissioner, just had some interest in what we're doing. I believe you had heard about some of our programming. And so we just gave him an overview, and then he said, maybe it'd be great to present to the commission on what we're doing, and if there's interest there, and how we might be able to help or answer some questions, and take some next steps.
And it could potentially work with a community-based organization as well.
Yeah, so we work with many community resources. So again, we cover a big area. We have about 30 pre-apprenticeships going right now. City Build is one. We work with Success Center. We work with APRI in San Francisco. City Build, Future Build, Goodwill in San Jose. Again, we're starting a program in Castroville. We're with the Greater Valley Salvation Army, also Fresno County EOC in Fresno, VAC Valley Apprenticeship Program, and again, Santa Rita Jail, Solano County Jail, CDCR. So we have a very big area just on.
Nothing in San Mateo County so far.
Nothing in San Mateo County.
Yeah.
I know there is a program. It is funded through the California Workforce Investment Board, which is the High Roads Construction Careers. Workforce Innovations is a program that's here in San Mateo County, which they provide some services as well. We're a little different. Obviously, we're in a lot of facilities. We're delivering the services hands-on, and so each one's different. But I think with our background, and as you can see, the demographics and the work that we're doing, we have a lot of experience. And our goal is we try and bring in the building trades. We present it. I've offered, whether it's in San Francisco, whether it's Fresno or Santa Clara, I outreach to all the crafts and say, would you guys like to participate in a module? Some say yes, some say no. It just depends.
Thank you so much. We're going to be calling for public comment. Would you mind sticking around in case something comes up for that? Thank you.
At this time, if you want to speak on this item number 4, please raise your hand in Zoom, or from Chambers. So, we'll take one from Chambers, and then we'll do the Zoom. So, are you planning to speak?
Yes.
And you can come up and state your name, please.
Thank you so much for this presentation. I'm Rebecca Keeler, a member of the community and co-founder of In Our Care, which supports our kids in San Mateo County, especially those in the system. this program that you're talking about is something that the community has been looking for, that this commission has been looking for, and I think probation has been looking for. So I'm really excited. Recidivism is the one thing that I think everybody, if you ask our community members, it's the one thing that they're really concerned about. And one of the biggest reasons for recidivism is that the kids come home and don't have a way to earn a living and or a purpose. And this can really give that to them. So I'm really excited. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Antonio De Jesus Lopez, I'm going to give you the permission to speak and you'll have 2 minutes. So please proceed.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Antonio Lopez of City of East Palo Alto. I want to first thank Leuna for their presentation. I've been listening attentively, and I'm excited to hear of all the amazing things that perhaps we can bring into our county, San Mateo. You know, just as to share with you all, you know, in East Palo Alto, we're no stranger to a lot of the school to prison pipelines that Commissioner Bocanegra and others on the commission have mentioned. You know, we've seen our fair share of, when I was growing up, probation officers coming into the school, punitive punishment practices, teacher turnover, and certainly a lot of, you know, I think all of us can agree that we're not defined by our worst mistakes in life. And so whatever we can do to get our young people, our quote unquote offenders, our residents, our kids, our Black and brown youth to come back with a prevailing wage job, to have a fighting chance to stay in this county, I think that's I'm all for it. So I just want to thank you guys for bringing this forward to us. I did have a question, if I may ask, in the presentation and the demographics, it mentioned, I think 20 to 30% unknown for the demographics. Just wanted to hear why that was, you know, issues with reporting. But besides that, I just want to echo what everyone is saying here, virtually and present, that this is a wonderful opportunity, and to the extent that we can get this in our jurisdiction, we should do so. So thank you all so much. Thank you for everyone's work, and looking forward to continuing to build on this.
Sure. If I may, the 20%, we do not mandate that they identify their ethnicity. So when they provide that, that is voluntary information. So if they don't provide that, that's the 20%. That's what goes into the 20%.
And I just wanted for the record to note that Antonio Lopez is the mayor of East Palo Alto. Woo woo.
I should say, when I first started this job 15 years ago, my first grant was to the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. And it was actually to provide training for the Bay Division pipeline. And it was in collaboration with Job Train. So we used to provide the training at Job Train, specifically in East Palo Alto on O'Brien, when they were located on O'Brien.
We should bring it back.
Yeah, well, I've talked to some of the new director that's been there, and we've been in conversation. So yeah, but that was where we first started one of our biggest programs.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your presentation and for the work you did. Oh, I apologize. I didn't realize, I didn't see, we have 3 more hands raised. This is, yes. Sorry about that.
Carter Paul, followed by John Enning. So Carter, you'll have 2 minutes, so please proceed.
Hi, thank you. This was a great presentation, and I'm a lifelong San Mateo County resident and also a member of SEIU 521, where we represent county workers, and anything that is union is amazing because, as you said, they provide living wage jobs, able to keep people local, and they also get people engaged politically, which we really, really need in our county. So I just want to say that I support this full-heartedly, and I urge the commission to move forward on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is John Enning. John, I'll give you the permission to speak, and you can proceed.
Okay. So I'm a citizen. I've lived in San Mateo County since 1978. I'm a business owner. I think that this work is imperative. I listen to these things and I think about my own like high school years when there used to be vocational training, and there's so little of that now, and we need people to do these jobs. So it's not just it's not a charitable thing as much as it is a resource management thing. We need young people to be skilled and able to come here and live and work. So I applaud the concept, and I applaud the commission for considering going forward with this program. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker is Bill New. Bill, you'll have 2 minutes, so please proceed.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the presentation. It was very educational, very illustrating what you do. I think it's a wonderful, fantastic program that you're doing. I think it's long overdue that this kind of program come to San Mateo County to serve our youth. I should also mention I'm a member, like Ms. Keeler, of In Our Care, and so I personally have seen the plight of a number of juveniles within San Mateo County, and know that, as other people have already noted, we need to have a program in place for juveniles before they come home out of incarceration, so that when they do come back to the community, like Mr. Bocanegra noted, they can continue to make a contribution not only to the community, but to their family, build their own self-esteem, and become stronger, contributing members of our community here in San Mateo County and go forward. And I also think, as it was also noted, anything we can do to bolster our youth these days in the economy that they're all facing will be an even bigger plus. And so I see this as nothing but something that's going to be very positive in terms of juvenile justice for our youth. And I strongly, strongly, strongly urge the Juvenile Justice Commission to pass this, make a decision to go past this program and go forward with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. That's end of public comment. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Okay. So Commissioner Nori, Satwik Nori had left, now he's rejoining, so.
okay. Does he have a question?
Yeah, I think he wants to become a panelist.
Oh, okay. All right, I will just promote him to panelist.
Yes.
And let's see if he has
There we
something
go.
to say. Commissioner Noy, did you want to say something?
Oh, no, sorry. I really appreciate the presentation, but my power went out. That's why I left.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
I just wanted to say something. As Commissioner Bocanegra said, I too, my grandmother immigrated from El Salvador, and when my grandmother came to this country, she became part of the labor union for the hotels in San Francisco. I forget the name. My older sister knows. I mean the number. But now it just didn't stop there. It also was my mother, who was raising 6 children by herself, putting food on her table, putting clothes on her back, and then it trickled down to my older sister. And so, for me, bringing this program to our youth that needs something for them to look forward to in order to become productive citizens of our society, is that this gives them that level of mentorship that they need. I think mentoring is key, so that they have that one-on-one, and that there is that brotherhood and sisterhood within the labor union family, and it also gives our youth hope. And so I mean, thank you for making the time to come, Leonard, and thank you for coming. So I just hope that we do move forward, and we start this partnership sooner rather than later, because our kids can't wait anymore. So right on. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that was wonderful. Okay, next up on the agenda is.
I have a comment, sorry.
Oh, yes.
I have a procedural comment for the
Yes.
commission.
Yes.
It seems like a trend that this is the second presentation where we are the only county left out.
Yes.
And not intentionally, but there are some disparities in them. So my question is, after these wonderful presentations, what's the follow-up? Like, we could sit here and listen, like, how do we really, like, unpack it? Well, this is not enough. This is very high level and super comprehensive. So how do we meet with probation? How do we meet with the sectors to really push it forward?
So that's what we would do. Hopefully probation, here's the presentation. We have Chief Keen on here with us. So hopefully the next step would be to have a meeting and to talk about how can we do this.
Yeah.
The commission, if it came to where we would need to do a vote or whether a recommendation or whatever we would want to do that way. But probation's been pretty receptive when there's been a program that they can do to put it in place. But I see that as the next steps procedurally for this program.
Yeah, because Joaquin came last month with Continuity Consulting, really pitched a great program. But it's not that we just left it hanging. I mean, life happens, work happens, things are happening in lifetime. But what can we do as a commission to say, okay, whether we're giving a report back for those that weren't here, for those that were here that maybe had additional questions that would like to further that partnership. It's just what I'm asking. I know that probation has their thing, but what can we do as a commission to make sure that the facts are taken and really presented in a way that doesn't give us, this is only like, what, 20 minutes time, so.
So I think maybe this would be an item that would go on our action items every month, that would require follow-up and follow-through and a report back on what probation's stance was on the issue, what was the result of the meeting, and any next steps that we might need to do with Board of Supervisors, or that's how I'm envisioning.
Okay, and so whose job is that to do that, or to initiate it?
Under the probation's communication protocol, it would be for me as the chair to meet with John King.
Okay.
That would be the next step there. But if anyone would like to attend that meeting, I'll put it on an email. If we can coordinate something and see who would like to be in attendance. Yes.
When you do set up that meeting, I would suggest someone from our liaison supervisor be present at that meeting as well. Because what I'm envisioning is eventually having a presentation at the Board of Supervisors meeting to see if we might be able to see what support is there as well moving forward. And so I think we keep that ball rolling. And also with Joaquin, I wasn't here, so I'm sorry I missed that meeting, but I just like to suggest we have someone from
at least a representative from his office. Thank you. Okay, now are we prepared to move? Okay, so moving on next to the presentation by the Youth Law Center. I will pass the floor over to Vice Chair Huber Levy, who will do the introductions and the presentation. Thanks again for being here. We look forward to working with you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to introduce, I'm echoing.
Mute your.
I think I'm muted.
You need to hit the mute button on your Zoom. Here's Zoom.
Okay. All right. Start on over. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I'm delighted to introduce Meredith DeSotos and Tamar Alexanian, who are attorneys with the Youth Law Center. They are the co-authors of an excellent report, Elevating the Voting Rights of Youth, How California Can Ensure Voting Access in County Juvenile Facilities, which analyzed the current voting policies in juvenile facilities across the state and identified problematic gaps, lifted up promising practices, and offered recommendations for both state and county action to protect youth voting. Meredith is a directing attorney at the Youth Law Center. Her work focuses on the ending of criminalization of childhood and replacing youth incarceration with positive, developmentally appropriate supports that are rooted in family and community. In partnership with the Young Women's Freedom Center, Meredith's work is grounded in movement-based legal strategies that seek to build power within directly impacted families and communities. Tamar is a staff attorney at the Youth Law Center, and prior to joining the Youth Law Center, she was a Skadden Fellow at the Children's Law Center of California. Her fellowship project involved enforcing the rights of the Children's Law Center LGBTQ clients, securing gender-affirming care for transgender and gender-diverse youth, and appropriate foster placements for all LGBTQ+ youth. So we've asked Meredith and Tamar to come and speak to us tonight about the actions that we can take as a community and county to ensure that the youth who are detained have access to their voting rights. We've also invited Chief Keen to be part of this discussion. He has interacted with the Youth Law Center and is very much in favor of ensuring that the youth have access to these rights. And so we're looking forward to a great presentation and a good discussion. Thank you all for being here.
Hi, good evening. Karen, thank you so much for the introduction. And we do have a handful of slides to help guide our conversation, and I will turn it over to my colleague Tamara to get us started.
Thanks so much, Karen and Meredith. I'm going to jump right in because we have a lot to cover and not so much time. So I wanted to start by going over what voting rights in California are. We start a lot of our presentations with this because we find that it can be sometimes confusing and it varies state to state. And so it's a good refresher for everyone. People in California can vote as long as they meet the following 4 criteria. They have to be 18 or older on election day. They have to be a US citizen. They have to be a California resident. And then the last one is they have to not be currently serving a state or federal prison term for an adult felony conviction. Meredith and I have spent a lot of time talking about this 4th element, especially as it relates to youth voting in juvenile facilities, because there's often a lot of confusion around what it means to be in a state or federal prison term for an adult felony conviction. And just to kind of lay the groundwork for all of the things we'll be talking about today, youth with a juvenile adjudication can always vote. A juvenile adjudication isn't considered a conviction, and it therefore doesn't have any effect on someone's right to vote. And that's what a lot of our work has been focusing on, making sure that youth who are in juvenile facilities know that they have this right to vote, and doing research on how to make sure they are able to exercise that right to vote, given all of the complications that can exist around voting generally, but especially voting while in a facility. There are kind of added barriers that can exist sometimes. So I'm gonna sound like my high school government teacher for a second and be like, voting is so exciting, because voting is actually so exciting, and it's even more exciting than I first thought it was. As I did research for our voting rights report, I did some digging into some studies about the benefits of voting, and I honestly probably hadn't thought very much about the benefits besides like it's important to exercise your right to vote. There's actually really cool data on the benefits of voting. There's individual benefits that range from like mental health benefits to like longevity, all of these things I wouldn't have thought about. There's community benefits. But the things that I guess are most pertinent to the conversation today are that there are benefits for people who are formerly incarcerated. And those include studies that show an association between reduced recidivism and voting among formerly incarcerated people. And then other studies that show that having the right to vote assists justice impacted individuals with community reentry and increases their sense of political advocacy. So I know recidivism was something that was mentioned earlier in this meeting, and something I think we can all be behind, or reducing recidivism. I hope I said the word reducing. And then there are really cool benefits to young voters. So forming voting habits young has positive benefits that obviously then last a lifetime if the benefit or if the habit continues. Youth engagement through voting can lead to better academic performance. It can lead to improved social emotional skills, and it can lead to increased skills and networks that are valuable in the workplace. So as we're talking about these young voters who are in juvenile facilities on election day, these are kind of the benefits that they can reap, and therefore the people in their communities can reap if they're able to exercise this right that they have. I will pass it to Meredith.
Thank you. So the next piece we wanted to lift up that we think it's important to center is that we do have in statute in California some affirmative obligations borne by the county probation department for their juvenile facilities. So in election code 2105.7, it spells out that probation departments are required for their juvenile facilities to identify every person in the facility who's eligible to vote, provide a registration application to each eligible person, and assist every eligible person to register unless they decline. And then finally, if they're doing registration by paper, ensuring that it can be returned and transmitted to the county elections official. So we start with this in part because it was our sense that perhaps it was not well known or widespread that there were some affirmative responsibilities that probation departments have when it comes to the voters in their juvenile facilities. And we started this project about a year ago, looking into 2024, recognizing that there is this obviously a big national election coming up. And also recognizing that we're in sort of a new era in terms of our juvenile justice system in California. I think this is a group of experts, and you're all very familiar with realignment, the closure of the state youth prison facilities, and the health-focused positive youth development system that's now anchored in the county juvenile delinquency system. So these changes are important when it comes to voting because of a few things you're probably well aware of. One, with realignment, youth can now spend much longer periods in county facilities than they used to, meaning that there's increased chance that someone might be in a facility during an election. And youth can stay in the facilities up to a higher age, up to age 25 in some cases. So we were, with these changes, went to look at the data and saw sort of a trend that's been happening since realignment, where increasingly a greater proportion of youth in county juvenile facilities are voting age eligible. So we saw a jump from about 15% in 2019 of voting eligible youth in juvenile facilities to 27% of youth in juvenile halls, now 18 and over, as of 2023. So increasingly, we have voting age youth in county juvenile facilities, and that led us to do a research report, and that's what Karen was describing, a survey of what's happening statewide to find out, are there gaps? Are there things that we could do to better support the voting rights of justice impacted youth, and especially youth inside juvenile facilities? So I'm not going to go into much depth on our report. I will be sure to share the links to the report, and we did a webinar. But here are just some high-level findings. One of the things we walk through in the report is how complicated it is to implement voting registration and actual voting, casting a ballot in an election inside a secure facility. And that's extra complicated when we're talking about young people who are likely brand new voters. There are questions like, what address will you use? What identification do you have? Dealing with the multiple deadlines of primaries and general elections, needing to plan for birthdays, new admissions, releases. All of these factors make voting in a secure facility highly complicated. And as we already noted, probation departments are required to help with registration and provide voting access. So we know that there's this affirmative duty that the counties need to step up and deal with these complexities. Unfortunately, we did find a lot of gaps. Most counties of the 40 with juvenile facilities did not have any written policies for how they would ensure youth can register and vote. And even the counties that did have written policies, most had legal errors in their policies. For example, not incorporating the fact that the department had these affirmative duties to identify voters and offer assistance with registration. So what we want to move into now is, based on our findings in the report, as Kara mentioned, really how we can support counties and collaborate with folks like you in this commission to expand and fill those gaps and do more to support the voting rights of young people who are in juvenile facilities.
So I'm going to go over recommendation 1, and I'm not sure if we'll have a ton of time, but we actually created a model or template written policy to help counties. This is our first and really robust county recommendation. We are hoping that counties will write down their policies and also write down the steps that they want to take or that they already maybe take to implement those policies. We found that in the research, some counties have policies, but then don't have steps for implementation. Some counties are taking steps for implementation, but don't have anything written down. And just for continuity's sake, for accountability measures, for making sure that this highly complex thing is happening every year, and or however often elections are happening, just making sure that they're written down so that they can be followed if there's staff turnover or there are changes or as youth exit facilities and things like that. So these are the bullets that we have on the PowerPoint here are kind of the big buckets of things that we are recommending the counties include in a written policy. So the first one is identifying a staff member to be accountable for registration and voting in each county juvenile facility. We saw that some of the policies already are doing this, and we think it's a great tool to make sure that staff members and counties know who the point person is to kind of answer questions, make sure that ballots are getting where they're supposed to, all those sorts of things. A method for identifying key election deadlines each year, a method for identifying youth who will be 18 on any of the election days during the year. So that might change, right? You have 17-year-olds who might be turning 18. They maybe weren't eligible to vote in a primary, but might be eligible to vote for a regular election, making sure that that's being kept track of. A method for conducting voter registration, and a method for ensuring that youth can cast their ballots in accordance with election deadlines. So these are kind of all of the pieces that should be included in a written policy. And again, we are happy to walk through the specifics or share our specific template sample policy that covers each of these things that we hope will help counties as they think through what their policies can be.
And our second recommendation, I think we're in a good place to be making it, because I can tell that there is really strong community involvement and support for justice impacted youth in San Mateo. So our second recommendation is to partner with community organizations and especially to lift up the role of credible messengers to lead voter outreach and education. What we found in the research and from talking to partners statewide is that especially credible messengers are in the best position to be connecting with young people based on their shared background about their right to vote, whether they want to exercise it, and then understanding enough information about their ballots to be able to actually decide how they want to exercise their right to vote. And what we have here is a picture. It comes from an article from the Imprint. If you ever check out that publication, they do a great job of describing some of the work of great organizations like the Young Women's Freedom Center and especially Pillars of the Community in San Diego. They're featured in our webinar because of their really powerful work connecting directly with formerly incarcerated voters and the peer-to-peer work of mentoring when someone is deciding to register for the first time and deciding how they want to exercise their right to vote. Our third recommendation is to really it's to ensure that probation doesn't have to carry the whole thing, to look to your other county experts. I think probation has to wear a lot of hats. And rather than asking probation staff to become elections law experts, ideally, what we see in counties is that you're able to lean on your local election, your county registrar or your elections officials for that expertise. And we have in our report highlighted some examples. You see this photos from Fresno County where the elections department is bringing in voting booths on voting day so that young people can directly cast their ballots. We also lift up a model from San Francisco where the Department of Elections is participating at the election with putting a ballot box in the facility so young people can directly cast their ballots. Then probation doesn't have to take any custody of the ballots. Then it's entirely the the elections department collecting ballots and transporting them. But even leading up to the election in San Francisco, they have election department staff who are going in and doing registration activities, kind of voter information, nonpartisan voter information work, and office hours to help to be present and answer questions from youth because these processes are so complex for all of us. And we especially like the model of partnering with your county elections officials because ideally young voters are beginning to develop the habits and the identity and experience that's authentic to what we hope they have as a lifelong voter, so that rather than interacting with probation as a voter, they're interacting directly with the entity that throughout their life ideally they'll be seeing as where they go when they have voting or registration issues or questions. And our last two recommendations. So number 4 is encouraging counties that when they implement accountability measures for ensuring that they've done their duties related to registration and voting, that they do so in a way that respects voter privacy. We were happy to see that there were some counties very diligently identifying eligible voters and outreaching to them in their facility, but we were concerned when that turned into documenting the youth voter status in their probation file. We think that goes a bit too far in terms of specifically identifying a youth within their probation file and around their voting rights and choices. And so instead encourage counties to consider how they could implement accountability, including by having a point person, including by having a timeline and a process, a regular procedure for identifying voters and getting them registered that doesn't then turn into individually documenting a youth voter status. And lastly, number 5 is we encourage counties to provide youth-specific voting materials and information. We started with that slide from Tamar around really distinguishing that juvenile cases are not convictions and have no impact on the right to vote. We know that the Secretary of State and many other organizations have done a lot of work around the nuances related to adult criminal involvement and how that impacts or doesn't your right to vote. But what we were observing is that that can create confusion if all the focus is on adult criminal involvement or the consequences that flow from that people might wonder, well, what does this mean if I'm in the juvenile system? And we have a concern because you can get in trouble if you try to register or not vote, or try to register or vote if you're not eligible, that youth might actually err on the side of caution and say, I'm confused, and so I'm not going to vote. So we provided some flyers. We're in the process of developing artwork that we hope and plan to offer to all counties, including San Mateo, of some materials that can be posted inside facilities to really drive home the point that juvenile justice involvement does not impact the right to vote. And I think with that, we might want to just turn it over. So we had a few slides on the details that a county might consider putting into their voting policy, but I think we'll go ahead and let that be just in writing, and you can take a look at it and turn it back to you all for questions and discussion. And I just want to acknowledge that we've been in touch with Chief Keen. He's been really receptive, and we're grateful for his leadership on this. And we look forward to being a resource as you all take up this issue.
Thank you so much, Tamar and Meredith. That was an excellent presentation. And I do encourage everyone, the actual report is appended to our minutes, so you can, not our minutes, to our agenda pack. So you could get it there, but you can also go to the Youth Law Center website and get it. And there's a link to the webinar, which was amazing. It was so helpful and included a member of the Alameda JJDPC and her recommendations based on their experience in applying a lot of the suggestions in Alameda. So thank you again. And I would invite Chief Keen. We referred to you a number of times, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and offer you the opportunity to comment on this.
Thank you very much. First things first, I'm going to go off camera because I'm having a little bit of a choppy internet process here. So excuse me, I wanted to just be on camera so you can see that I'm actually here. But I'm going to go off camera now to kind of do my presentation. First of all, let me say thank you very much to Meredith and Tamia for putting this information together. They're correct. We have had an opportunity over the last several months to connect and talk about how we can specifically take the kind of nuts and bolts of what they are recommending and apply it here to San Mateo County. I want to provide just a little bit of historical perspective in terms of kind of how we've done things in San Mateo County with regard to this issue. During my 11 years here, I have always made a concerted effort to ensure that when we have had 18-year-olds in our facility, that they will vote. We have not had a formal policy to go along with that, but we have had a practice, and we have had steps in which we apply rather. It's refreshing to see that a lot of the things in the recommendation we actually do already now, although it be informally. We have a very active relationship with our registrar's office, who's right down the hill from us. And so they have always been a tremendous support for us in terms of working to help encourage our young people to vote and to provide information to them as a part of that. On a personal level, I've been a part of this issue for more than a decade. When I started my career in Alameda County, the actual policies and practices that they have today are ones that I actually wrote over 12 years ago when I was there working in the facility. So I know for a fact kind of how that stuff applies and how much they, as a county, have had the opportunity to apply it. One of the things that kind of differentiates Alameda County from what we've had in San Mateo is that in Alameda, there's always been a very robust 18+ population, unfortunately, in the facility. And so we have far more opportunities to work towards registration and voting for young people even before this became more of a formalized process. And so, as with many things now with this transition from the state to the counties, this is yet one more thing that we have to make sure that we formalize in our juvenile halls to ensure that we do this correctly and we lift up the rights of our young people while they're in our care. One of the things I want to emphasize is I had an opportunity to speak with Commissioner Hubert Levy about is that I look forward to actually, in terms of the idea of the credible messenger, I see that's where the JJDPC can come in and really be that kind of focal point for that. I see in probation our responsibility, obviously, to logistically provide the space and the mechanics of ensuring that this process happens in an efficient, consistent manner every single opportunity and every single time it is for these opportunities to take place. But in terms of how we can work collaboratively, I certainly agree that the credible messenger piece is something that frankly should be coming from outside of the facility space. We do want to create a normalcy around voting, and that cannot be tied to this idea of I vote while I'm in the facility, and that's kind of how I see the process. And so I completely agree wholeheartedly with that idea and that concept. And so we look forward to working closely with Youth Law on this, as we've worked with them in many other opportunities in the past. And so we look forward to taking their materials and actually finalizing and formalizing processes that we've done for many years here. And we also look forward to working with the JJDPC specifically around this idea of you all helping to lift up the idea of voting through the credible messenger space, which I completely agree should come from outside of the the institutional setting. So that's really all I wanted to add. I just want to appreciate and thank you all for giving me an opportunity to speak on this particular issue. It's something that obviously is incredibly relevant, not just for today, but for our young people's future in terms of how they see themselves as active citizens in our community. So thank you once again for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Chief Keen. It's really heartening to hear your comments on that. And I think that everyone in the room is enthusiastically wanting to support this and seize the opportunities here. I also just wanted to mention that we have a couple of community-based organizations that are particularly interested in providing support as well. And I know Diane Leeds from the San Francisco Peninsula People Power, SFPPP, who is also co-chairing the Voter Education and Outreach Advocacy Committee of San Mateo County, is here tonight, and she's interested in offering support and help in this. Melissa Poling is here in person from FLY, and her colleague, Maria. Melissa is the director of San Francisco Counties for FLY. Also, Colin Ford, who's the director of policy, chimed in and wanted to mention that they developed a number of educational modules that have been delivered already in Alameda County very successfully, and they offered up, the access to these modules and the opportunity to bring that to San Mateo. Also, I think the VOC, the Voter Education Outreach Committee, Advocacy Committee, includes a number of community-based organizations, including the League of Women Voters, who's been active in putting together information. Also, ACLU NorCal is also interested in this and offering up, they have an education module. So I just wanted to mention that there's a lot of enthusiasm in the community to support this effort, and we would be happy to continue to coordinate and work with probation and make sure that you have what you need as you develop the policies. And the timeline, of course, seems to be we need to align with our November election. So we want to make sure, I'm glad we had an opportunity to talk about this now in June, so we have a lot of time to deal with this and make sure that the youth in the hall have all the support that they need to be informed and engaged. And
well, the great thing is that we had actually already started talking about this months ago. We had our young people actively participate in voting earlier in this year. So this won't be the first time for this cohort. So having it in a more formalized way will be, of comfort to them. But certainly, we feel very comfortable with the materials that Youth Law Center has already provided for us, and we think that template is a strong one. And so I think that when I hear all of the wonderful additional folks that want to participate in the support of it, I think directly with the direct education to the young people and the supporting of the young people will probably be the space that energy is probably best directed at this point. And so hopefully, as we kind of figure out the best way to accomplish that, in terms of how they connect with them, whether it be through this kind of modular education space, or even if working through the commission, there's some way to kind of maybe create a new subset of people that may come into the facility in a targeted manner to work specifically on this. I'm obviously going through all the processes that we have to align to have people in the facility, of course. If we do it that way, that's also something that, we would be supportive of.
That sounds great. All right, as an action point, respecting Tiffany, your point that we need to continue to follow up. I think we have a great direction here that we can take the work of the Youth Law Center, continue to interact directly with you, Chief Keen, and whoever you would like us to coordinate with in probation, and coordinate with our community-based organizations. And also, I would make the pitch to those of our commissioners who have credible messengers in your organizations that you think might be, appropriate individuals who can work together on this. We'd love to hear from you as well. That's a great opportunity.
And Vice Chair Huber Levy will be leading the charge on this issue for the commission. So if you have any questions, ideas, please direct them.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate Meredith and Tamar that you taking the time to sit through our whole meeting and present to us. And you know, your materials and your work on this has just been so energizing and helpful. And thank you, Chief Keen, for your support and your being here to inform the community that we're all on the right track and we're all working together aligned on this. Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, right before you leave, thank you so much, Meredith and Tamara, for that presentation. I really appreciate the recommendations as well as the framework that y'all have been working on, as well as Chief Keen for bringing in that historical context. My question is, I think Meredith touched on data collecting, like what's prohibited and what's allowed. I think, I mean, if there's any way we could see any kind of data breakdown, even if it's from Alameda County, that way we have a baseline to look at. I only say that because we won't know how to solve for things if we don't see the data. And I'm speaking from the lens of equitability and culturally responsive. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If that was like a roadblock for us to collect who denies registration, as opposed to who says, okay, I really want to get registered and go through the process of voting. I would love to just see that data, that way that can inform me as an executive director of a programs that are developed for civic engagement. My second question is kind of like off topic, but are inmates allowed to sign petitions? Questions.
Do you mean youth in detention or you're talking about adults?
Yeah, adults who are, I mean, youth who are registered.
Yeah, adults.
Yeah, youth who are registered and or adults incarcerated, are they allowed to sign petitions? Do you guys know?
I will answer that only from where I sat and where I sit and where I've done the research, which is that they're eligible voters. So I don't know what goes into signing a petition. I'm sure there are restrictions there around like where you're a resident and all of those things. So I can say with clarity, they're eligible voters. So that can factor into maybe
considering
if you're doing
like they fall under the parameters of whatever district, but if they're registered voters but they're incarcerated, can they sign a petition?
Sounds to me like it's yes.
Okay.
I think so. I don't want to answer a question that I don't have the legal expertise on, but so it will really, I think, depend on where they're registered, and your registration does, have an address. So I think there are probably nuances that might be a good place. Your elections official might be a good place to ask that question, but just with absolute clarity, they can register to vote, and so there are voters inside the facilities, and then whatever additional roles they can play based on that, if that part is clear. And I just wanted to make sure I clarified what I said. I think you were asking about data that counties might have collected based on tracking whether someone voted or not. I think if I understood your question correctly, I want to clarify, we didn't receive from any counties any individual level data about youth voting or not voting. What we received was the blank forms that they use when they track someone's decision to vote or not vote. And so we don't have any data on that. The data that's in our report is really our analysis of voting policies statewide.
Through the chair, I have a question, a clarifying question for Tiffany. Tiffany, you're referencing the petitions to get something on the ballot? Okay.
Measures.
Okay. All right.
You just have to be a registered voter, and you have to be sure to sign on the petition as where you live.
Right, but I think the accessibility is how we're gonna get those petitions inside.
So
I have a question. So would that mean like these youth could also make their voice known as residents and registered voters at a public comment, for instance, at a board of supervisor meeting or city council?
These are excellent questions.
Tomorrow, Meredith? Anybody?
Senator Becker?
Senator
Logistics
Becker?
would be a problem. Through the chair.
I think the logistics will come up. I mean, just according to public meeting laws, you don't have to be a voter to make your comments heard. You can be any member of the public can make their comments heard at a public meeting.
I think, well, maybe I think you're referencing accessibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Okay, all right, we do have one public comment.
Yes.
Okay.
Ligia Andrade Zuniga, you have 2 minutes, so please proceed. And then we also have Diane Leeds.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Chair Rasmussen, and the commissioners, as well as the panelists and members of the public. My name is Ligia Andrade Zuniga. Use she, her, ella pronouns. I am the current board president for the San Mateo Union High School District Board of Trustees. And Commissioner Hubert is actually absolutely right about the ACLU being interested in partnering to have the youth that are in the detention center vote. I am also a member of the North Peninsula chapter of the ACLU, although all of these views are on my own. We are working on getting into the schools and having the students register to vote. And we were having this conversation the other day about partnering as well with y'all to encourage the youth to vote. It's extremely important for this type of information to get to them. It allows agency, like a feeling of agency in their lives. When youth are able to vote, it shows them how to take charge in being active participants in their communities. It also helps with supporting their family if they have issues with immigration or anything that is on the ballot that would affect the family. It would be an active participation in that situation. It helps them feel like they're part of something greater. And also there might be initiatives on the ballot that will affect them as well with just in terms of like incarceration and all of those types of things. I believe there's an initiative on the ballot this November about mass incarceration. So there's some things that are really interesting. But not only that, it's also a very good opportunity for education around the history of voting. And in terms of social justice, it might make them interested in pursuing these types of this type of education, reading books about it, maybe going into different careers with it around social justice and voting. So I really appreciate the time to speak, and I'm really excited that Chief Keen is definitely on board with this. So thank you for bringing this item onto the agenda today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Leah. Next speaker, our last speaker is Diane Leeds. So Diane, please proceed.
Hi, good evening. Yes, my name is Diane Leeds, and I'm the co-chair of the Voter Education and Outreach Advisory Committee, as well as a member of San Francisco Peninsula People Power. And we've been involved in doing voter outreach for quite some time, especially looking at both youth as well as folks that are incarcerated. That's been a challenge of getting that to happen. So seeing this report that Tamara and Meredith put out is just great information that can be useful for both you know, the younger voters, and as well as just key benefits that we can use when we're going to talk to anyone who's currently or formerly incarcerated. The one thing I just wanted to mention that we shouldn't overlook is that 16 and 17-year-olds can pre-register to vote. So we shouldn't, you know, if we're going into these facilities, don't just focus on the folks that are 18 and older that can already vote, but getting folks pre-registered and also starting that voter education and explaining the importance of voting, getting it started as you know, as early as possible is something that's really valuable to do. Thank you.
Thank you. That's end of public comment.
Thank you. Looking at the time at 7:15, I'd like to make a motion to move items 7, 8, and 9 to the next meeting. Do I have a second?
To the chair. Okay, yeah. So thank you, Diane, for being here because you said a lot of what I was going to say. But my questions are for Tamar and Meredith as well. So the policies, would you be able, so what county is doing this well? What county has implemented the program and it's working well for them? That's one of my questions.
No, there's no either.
I would say every county has room for improvement. We did put every county's response to our records request on our website. So if you visit, it's actually a pretty easy URL. It's ylc.org/voting rights. You can find all of our materials there. I think that there are things to borrow from many of them. And that's really what we did in developing the sample policy is to look at some good things happening in different places and pull it all together. And then I would say, you know, some of the counties, there are only a handful with robust relationships with elections departments. I think the ones that stand out are the ones that bring in elections for the actual ballot casting because of that direct relationship the youth get to form. So that would be San Francisco doing the ballot boxes. I think Merced and Fresno, Tamar, jump in, both have the local elections agencies coming in on election day or around the time of election to collect ballots.
Okay, great, thank you. And another question I had was regarding the sample policy. So you did mention that you do have one that we can check out on your website, correct?
Yes, it is there. It's in Appendix A and it's also its own sort of standalone document now on the website.
All right. And then I was listening to the presentation here from all of you, is that I went up on the California Secretary of State's website, Dr. Shirley Weber, and speaking about high school and youth initiatives. And something I didn't know was you can pre-register at 16. So that was one of the things I was going to mention, but Diane mentioned it. So for some reason, I just thought it was 17, but I'm glad that it's 16. And so it gives youth the time to learn what it means to do their civic duty. And I'm really interested in also implementing some sort of educational voter outreach for the youth in our center. So I'm looking forward to see what this looks like. My other question is, it won't be to you, but it would be for probation. Is like, I'm interested to see and hear and learn what does it look like now. So, but I don't expect that answer now. So that was it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
Commissioner.
call for the orders of the day. That means we need to get back on.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to make a motion due to time that we move items 7, 8, and 9 to our next meeting, which would just leave updates from system partners and announcements. Could I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, so if we could, yes.
Just take a quick roll call.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Commissioner Huber Levy?
Aye.
Commissioner Montani?
Aye.
Commissioner Blanco?
Aye.
Commissioner Bocanegra? Aye. Commissioner Ginevra?
Aye.
Commissioner Jackson? Aye. Commissioner Liu?
Aye.
Commissioner Amaya Nori? Aye. Commissioner Sathwik Nori is absent. Commissioner Swope?
Yes.
Commissioner Uhila, Aye. Chair Rasmussen?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we could, yes, thank you. All right, so if we co Okay, so moving on to updates from system partners. Thank you so much for your patience. First up is Ron Reyes from the Private Defender Program. Thanks for joining us.
Of course, good evening, and somewhat unfair to have me follow up such excellent presentations tonight. So, the month of June been somewhat quieter, which is a good thing. We assigned 30 cases. The breakdown of that, 10 of them were detentions. Out of the 10, 7 of the petitions contained 707B allegations, and then the rest were out of custody arraignment. Out of those 19, out of custody arraignments, one of them contained a 707B type of allegation. The next thing, we did 2 sealings during the last 4 weeks, and then you can also expect us, given the number of petitions, that our call hotline was also a little quieter, which is also a good thing. We received 24 calls. The one thing I should note also, sometimes we do get calls, but we have to figure out a way how to track these calls where multiple youth arrested at the same time. So it's in our system, they get logged in as one call, but usually there is multiple youth involved in the call. So not all the time, but that's something to be aware of. So sometimes the number of calls does not directly reflect how many youth we talk to, but it's pretty close. So those are the numbers for the past 4 weeks. I'm happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Thank you so much. Any questions? No, okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving on to the probation department.
Yes, hi everyone, Nora Cullen, Assistant Deputy Chief of Juvenile Division. I'll be very brief. Just reporting out that we have 177 in diversion, and then we have 184 in supervised probation, formal probation. Thank you.
Welcome. We can take questions from commissioners after.
Hi everyone, Sinea Mayer, Superintendent of the Juvenile Hall. Currently our units are 2 open units. We have 20 males, 1 female, total of 29. We have 4 out of custody youth, 1 from Contra Costa County, 2 from San Francisco County, and 1 from Santa Clara County currently. And unfortunately, we had to cancel our Asian Pacific event that was scheduled for tomorrow. There was various reasons as to why we had to cancel it, but the main reason was because the youth chose not to participate this year. So, other than that, I don't have any other updates.
Do we have any numbers for EMP?
No, I did not bring that with me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And do we have any numbers on the breakdown of race and ethnicity?
Sure. 22 Hispanic youth, 4 African American, 2 Polynesian, and 1 Asian.
Thank you so much. Any questions from Commissioner? Yes.
I have a question, and you may not be able to answer this because I don't think we asked for this breakdown, but now that we've had this conversation about voting rights and ages, do you have a sense of the ages of the 29 youth in the hall? Are they?
I do, but I don't have that exact number.
Okay, yeah.
You want to know how many adults we have currently?
18. Or actually,
18 and over.
Well, in terms of voting, engagement, it would be 16 and up. 16 and 17-year-olds could be part of the discussion in terms of pre-registration, and then the 18-year-olds would be.
We have about 8 over 18.
8 over 18. Okay.
And then for 16, $13, 14, 15, 15 over 16. 15 youth over 16 years old.
Oh, thank you. Any other questions?
I do have a question. Is it possible also, aside from getting the information on the ethnicity of our youth, is also what cities they're from?
Which we get that data as part of the inspection process. We do the breakdown for the year.
All right.
And I also believe that all of this is on our website as well. And for EMP, currently, it looks like we have 19 youth on EMP.
19?
Yeah.
Any out of county?
On EMP, not that I have that number right now.
And I believe the data on the website, there's like a 3-month lag, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
it's done every quarter.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, next up would be Ornette Shohan from BHRS. Ornette, I've sent you a request to be a panelist, so you can speak if you're there. Please accept. Here she comes. Great. Welcome. Ornette, you can begin now. You're on mute.
Ornette, we're giving you the permission to speak, so please speak.
All right, well, maybe there's some technical difficulties. Maybe we could move on to Sarah Notch from the County Office of Education, then we can circle back with Ornette. Thank you so much for being here, Sarah.
Oh, thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. Our court and community school programs are in summer session right now, which tends to be a quieter time of year for us as well. I know that's been a theme in some of the updates. And I'm gonna apologize, the last meeting I was experiencing audio difficulties. So I'm gonna quickly recap what I wanted to share at the last meeting because nothing much has changed since then. Right now, oh, go ahead.
Sarah, it's included in our agenda packet. So for the sake of time, if you maybe just wanna do the highlights, because
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll be super pithy. Because of the presentation today from Executive Director Gonzalez about the apprenticeship preparedness program, I just wanted to say how much I appreciated that, because the CTE or career technical education work that we're doing this summer, we see such a powerful spark of the beginning of that work with our students, and our guiding principles are very much the same. So I was thrilled for that presentation. It's very much aligned with our work. And then the only other new thing is that in addition to a new principal for our court and community schools and director of school programs, we've recently hired a new coordinator for school programs. So these administrators will help us implement our school's strategic planning goals and our LCAP goals, and they all start on July 1st. And that's about everything.
Thank you so much. Could you provide us the names of those individuals?
Yes, we have Maria Ramos is our new principal of Court and Community Schools. Jesus Jimenez is our new director of school programs, and Laura Codicetti is our new coordinator of school programs.
Thank you so very much. Anybody have any questions for Sarah?
I couldn't get the names.
Oh, the names?
I need the names for the minutes.
Okay, could you repeat the names one more time, please?
Yes, of course, and I can email them as well for spelling.
That would be preferable.
Do you want me to do that? Okay,
Thank
I'll do
you.
that.
Okay, and we will, thank you so much, Sarah. I will circle back with Ornette Shohan from BHRS. Ornette, are you able to join us to give an update?
Ornette, all you have to do is just unmute yourself.
Okay, so I will check in with Ornette to see if we might get a written update that I can include in the minutes. And then we will call for public comment on our system partner updates.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Members of the public, if you wish to comment on item 6, all the 5 items are only 3 spoke. So please raise your hand in Zoom, or if you want to speak from this room, please raise your hand. All right, no hands are raised, so no public comment.
Thank you so much. And that brings us to our last item, which is matters of commission interest. I wanted to share that I received a call the Friday before Father's Day from Elaine Horsley, who is the wife of our late sheriff and supervisor, Don Horsley. And she wanted to donate all of Don's suits to our court clothing program. So I went and picked up a full SUV full of shirts and suits and shoes that will be going to our kids through our court clothing program. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Next, I wanted to announce that we are looking at August 10th as the date of our retreat. I know that Commissioner Jackson had an announcement he wanted to make about some upcoming training.
Yeah, so, Tiffany, I did reach out to Joaquin. So we're setting up for the August 3rd and 4th. This will be for mindfulness-based substance use awareness treatment. And so they want to know how many commissioners want to be involved and all that. So to be 3rd and 4th, which is Saturday, about 7 to 8 hours a day on both days for the training. So,
for those of you remember, we had, he came and gave the presentation last month, and many of us were inspired and asked questions on how we might be able to participate. And so Commissioner Jackson is telling us there's an opportunity. It's going to be, it sounds like the first weekend in August, and to please contact him if you'd like to participate.
he'd like to know by Friday, just so he knows how many people we need to have with him and the food, and everything else he needs to bring in.
Thank you so much. I know Commissioner Montani, you had an announcement as well about the.
Yeah, sure. There's just a small project that I'm working on outside of the commission that Johan recommended I speak about briefly. I'm working on it with my classmates and to help increase employment opportunities and help them find employment for youth leaving juvenile hall. We recently received funding for the project. We got $2,000 from an angel investor and $1,000 from an anonymous parent at my school. And so part of that is we'll also be providing clothing, more casual clothing that they can, but clean and new clothing that they can bring to like their job interviews and hopefully when they get their job, just day to day that they can use. So we recently bought that and I'm working with Johanna to be able to give that to them. Also like bus passes and deodorant and stuff like that. And then we also have been creating a list of like businesses that are willing to hire these kids without denying them purely because of their record.
Thank you so much for that work.
So,
Yeah, yes.
there were 3 of us who attended the graduation, which as usual was done very well. I love seeing the faces of the youth when they come into everybody standing and clapping for them, and the mothers when they get the flowers.
Yeah.
It's lovely the way they do that.
Yeah, so that was the Hillcrest graduation that happened on May 29th.
There were 4.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Wesley was there. There was one other person. Oh, yeah, you were there.
In disguise.
That's wonderful. I believe that one entire unit, the long-term unit, was able to attend to see their peers graduate, which was also nice.
Nice.
Okay, and then my last announcement is that I received an email from Commissioner Steve Grieb on Saturday that he was resigning from the commission, and it would have affected immediately. So I just wanted to put that on the record. And with that, we will adjourn the meeting at 7:33. And thank you for staying over.
Well, thank you.